Hello. Okay, we are about an hour before Shabbos. I am home, which is amazing because anybody who has been following kind of my posts and what's been going on, we just came out of the hospital. My daughter had an emergency surgery. It's been a really crazy last few days, and very thrilled to be back home for Shabbos with her. She's recovering. She's in pain but recovering. And I'm telling you this actually, if you don't know me and you don't know my personal life, because it really ties into what I want to focus on this week. It's been a really intense week, and not just for me personally, although also for me personally. I guess I'll continue on the personal one and then get into the larger one. Hey, Susan. So my week began after a really beautiful Passover holiday with my whole family, and celebrating that, culminating in this beautiful, what's called the Feast of Mashiach Suda, with 800 people on our program, this incredible show of unity, beautiful unity. And then following that, immediately after, when the holiday ended, we heard about the horrific shooting in Poway with Chabad of Poway at their synagogue last Shabbos morning. Rabbi Yisrael Goldstein, who's the rabbi there, actually his brother is the one that introduced my husband and I to each other. My husband used to learn with Rabbi Goldstein's father, so we have a connection there anyway. We all have a connection to what's going on there. But there was that. The next morning, I heard that a very beloved family member, my great uncle, had passed away, and I actually had wanted to go to the funeral, which was in Las Vegas. And thank God I didn't, because I ended up at the emergency room with my youngest, who needed emergency surgery for what they thought was an appendix, whole nother story, but whatever. So here I am, post-hospital. Oh, and yesterday was Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. So this was a very intense week. Sorry, a little tired here, for everybody, for the entire, hi all of you, for the entire world, for the entire Jewish people, dealing with the day in memory of the Holocaust, only to be also grieving and burying the victim from an anti-Semitic attack in a synagogue. So there's been a lot going on, and we're reading, and this is the third week actually that we're reading this because of Passover, the Torah portion of Acharei. And Acharei, this Torah portion has two different names. Some people refer to it as Acharei Mos, and some refer to it as Acharei. And the Chabad custom actually is to call it Acharei. And the meanings of the two, one means, Acharei means like after, following, and the other means following the death of. And it's a really incredible distinction between the two, because one really has a connection to something negative, obviously, when we're speaking about death, and I'm not even going to get into the whole story of why it's connected to death. That's a different point. But then Acharei is this idea of like following, like move forward, change it around. Acher is other, it's different. And it's two different ways of really viewing the world. The fact that we're at the tail end of the month of Nisan, our month that we celebrate Passover, Nisan is etymologically the same word as nisayon, which is a challenge, which is a test, which is a difficulty. And nisayon is a hard, difficult challenge that we go through. And yet its root is nes, which is miracle. And literally at the root of the challenge is this miraculous opportunity. So, and they both exist. That's the thing. They're both real. They both exist. There is the death, there is the negative, there is that challenge, there is that test, there is that hardship. And there's also moving forward, putting it, aside and changing it so that we can focus on the miracle within, the opportunity within, the possibility within, and changing reality that way. So, this week really shows that on so many levels. It's so easy to get caught up and focus on the tragedy and the terror and being scared and letting the fact that there's anti-Semitism that's rampant and real. It is real and it does exist and it's there in the world, and let that stop us. Let that become the focus. Let that become something that paralyzes us. And then we don't do, and we don't move, and we don't shift, and we don't change. And Rabbi Goldstein's been this remarkable example of somebody who, in the midst of suffering, in the midst of mourning, is Acharei, move forward, shift it, change it, be in synagogue tomorrow. It was at 11:23 a.m., be there. Show the negativity and those who want to work against us and those who want to silence us and those who want to stop us. That's not going to work. We're not going to stop doing what we're supposed to do because there are those who are going to do what they can to make us stop. You know, in Israel, we had that moment of silence for Yom HaShoah. We do not forget. We actively remember. It's not this idea of pretend it didn't happen or just don't think about that. No, it's there, but let that motivate you specifically through thinking about it. Let it motivate you and encourage you and inspire you to do things differently and to impact the world in a greater and more profound way. So we just had Yom HaShoah, and then next week, Israel will be celebrating Yom HaAtzmaut and celebrating the fact that Israel exists. Whoever's walking in the past, you're on video. So that's, you know, what's happening. That's what's going on. I hope that made sense. I'm a little tired here, but I just want to, you know, encourage everybody, find that nace, find that miracle that is embedded within and hidden often within that nisayon, that, you know, test, that challenge. And even though Acharei Mos, you know, the death is one way of calling this Torah portion, the other is Acharei, which is just flip it, change it, move forward, you know, Acharei. After that, what are we going to do? How are we going to be different? How are we going to transform this world? And as Rabbi Goldstein has been saying throughout, you know, it's also the week we just launched our new site. It's called Lumen Story. It's all about illumination, bringing light to the darkness. And that's really the message of this week, that you don't fight darkness head on. The darkness is not really going anywhere, you know, away on its own. You can spend your time trying to fight it, but it's pretty powerful and it's pretty big. And why fight it directly when all you have to do is just add the light, and then it will disappear all on its own. So that's really the difference. Acharei Mos is really the idea of kind of dealing with the darkness directly, and Acharei is just add the light. So with that, I hope you have a beautiful Shabbos, a healthy Shabbos, a restful one, a life-giving one, and in the memory and in honor of all those whose lives were taken both very recently and, you know, throughout all of the generations, we should truly be motivated to live, you know, just so much more passionately and powerfully in their memories. So thank you and good Shabbos.